I'm doing a book review, and the book I want to review is The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Now, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer was published in 1876, and I believe it's set in the 1840s. Now, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer is about the adventures of a young boy named Tom Sawyer and his best friend Huckleberry Finn. Now, the characters of Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn have really become very iconic characters, and even if you never read this book, you know the names Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. They've become very iconic names, and if you're a Rush fan, you definitely know the name Tom Sawyer. Now, the book is about, like I said, the book really doesn't have a set plot line. It's really about the different adventures that Tom Sawyer goes on, and in the different experiences he has. And in the beginning of the book, you see Tom Sawyer, he's really kind of like an arrogant, selfish little boy, but you do see the characters start to mature throughout the book, and in the beginning of the book, and I think even if you haven't read the book, you know about this scene. I think everybody knows about the scene where Tom Sawyer convinces all his friends to whitewash a fence that he was supposed to. He's like, come on guys, it will be fun, and he just makes all his friends do it. I think everybody remembers that scene, but throughout the book, you do see the character really kind of change and really kind of mature throughout the book. He becomes less selfish. He takes the blame for something a girl he really likes at school did, and also in the book, there is actually a villain in this story. There's a scene in the book where Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn witness a murder, and what happens is, at first, they promise that they'll keep quiet about this, because they're afraid that the killer will come after them if they say who it was who did it. But what happens is somebody who didn't commit the crime gets accused of it, and eventually these boys have to kind of fess up, but when they do, that puts themselves in danger, from the actual killer. But but the book, also in the book, there's a scene where Tom Sawyer and this girl he really likes were exploring in these caves, and they get lost in the cave. And also, one of my favorite parts of the book is where Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn and their friend Joe run away from home to become pirates, and they find out that people in their town are panicking that they're gone, and eventually they end up getting declared dead. And when they find out about this, they end up going to their own funeral. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. It's actually a very funny book. Now, at the time Mark Twain wrote this, I believe he intended it as a children's novel, but by today's standards, a lot of the stuff in this book can be considered kind of politically incorrect. They do use the N-word at a few points in this book, and all I can really say to that, and I'm not trying to defend that word, but this book was written in a very different time than our time now. So also the villain in the story is, from what I can tell, a Native American character, but they call the character Injun Joe. So there's a lot of stuff in this book that can definitely be looked at as being very politically incorrect by today's standards. And really the point I'm trying to get across here is, at the time it was written, it was intended to be a children's novel, but now I'm not really sure if I would recommend it for children. I would more recommend it for adults or young adults. I wouldn't really recommend it for children today. I guess at the time, since it was a very different time, it may have been alright for children at the time, but given how politically incorrect some of it can be viewed now, I wouldn't recommend it for children now, at least. But it is a really good story, despite some of the politically incorrect stuff that is in it. Now, Mark Twain wrote a sequel to this book called The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which mostly focused on the character of Huckleberry Finn, and a lot of people say that book is actually better than this book. I know a lot of people say pretty much consider The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn to be like Mark Twain's magnum opus. Like, a lot of people say that book like pretty much almost towers over this book. I haven't read it yet, but I do want to check it out. And Mark Twain actually wrote 2 other books after Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which deal with the characters of Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn. So in a lot of ways, this could technically be looked at as the first book of a series of books. But I don't know where you can get like the other 2 Tom Sawyer books, because I know those are nowhere near as famous as this book or Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. But yeah, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer I think is a very good book. I would definitely recommend it, and bye.